All right. Thank you, team. Thank you for that warm welcome. Thank you for that warm introduction. I just want to check in with everybody that's here. Just put a one in the comments if you can see and also hear me okay. Just put a one in the comments if you can see and also hear me okay. If you could put a one in the comments, just let me know that you can see and also hear me okay. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. One, one, one. One. Amazing, amazing. Great. Thank you very much for that. Amazing. All right. So before we begin, let me ask you a question. Put a one in the comments if you like the idea of making an additional 500 to £1,000 per day part-time. Put a one in the comments if you like the idea of that, the idea of 500 to £1,000 per day part-time. Put a one in the comments. Brilliant. Second question, this time put a two in the comments if you don't just like the idea of 500 to £1,000 per day part-time, but you like the idea of doing it in a way where you know it makes a difference in other people's lives. Put a two in the comments if you also like the idea of doing that in a way that it makes a difference in other people's lives. Very good. Thanks, everybody. Final question. This time, put a three in the comments if you don't just like the idea of making 500 to £1,000 per day part-time. You don't just like the idea of it making a difference in people's lives, but you like the idea of doing something in a way that lights you up. Three's already, I love it. In a way that has you feeling like you're making a difference, in a way that has you feel like you're living your true potential, and ultimately has you feeling like you're living the life you know you truly freaking deserve. If that's you, give me a three in the comments. Feel like I'm preaching. Can I get an amen? Someone's put amen. Thank you for that. Well, look, obviously, I don't know you yet, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of mind reading. Perhaps right now you're in a place where maybe right now you don't have enough free time. Perhaps right now you don't have enough income. Maybe you're doing work that you don't really love. Perhaps right now you're exchanging too much time for money. Perhaps right now you want more freedom, you want more choice. And maybe right now you feel uncertain about your financial future. Well, I want you to imagine that you fast forwarded 12 months. Imagine now you are at a place where you're getting property deals easier. You are now the go-to property expert in your area. You now have time freedom. You now are working wherever you want in the world. You now are in complete control of your own future, and you're now getting paid to do what you love. So would you all agree, team, that if this is where you are now and this kind of is where you want to be, would you all agree that you need a new strategy or vehicle, or maybe a new way of being or thinking to get from where you are to where you want to be? Put a one in the chat if you'd agree with that. Yeah, good. Thank you, team. So how do you get there fast? How do you go from where you are to where you want to be? How do you get there, and how do you get there as quick as possible? Because life is short, right? There's 168 hours in a week. There's 24 hours in a day, and we don't know how many days we've got left. I think it's an unintentional arrogance in society today that we've got forever and a day to go for our dream, but we don't know how long we've got. Somebody I know personally, intimately, passed away recently. He was 38 years old and he's got 3 kids. And it was literally within like 6 months of getting the news, the diagnosis. So we don't know how long we've got. So we've got to get wherever we want to get to. We've got to get there fast. So how do you get there fast? You get there fast in the world of property by becoming what we call an expert speaker property investor. That's what Liam is. So what is an expert speaker property investor? Well, here's another question. What do Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Darren Winters, and Liam Ryan all have in common? By the way, Darren, Liam, if you're watching, you owe me a tenner for putting you on the same page as Oprah and Tony Robbins. Well, I'll tell you what they have in common. They're all influential people. They're all great communicators. They're all motivational. They all know how to get people out of their own way, and they all know how to help people have a better life. So would it not make sense to you, team, that the thing that got you to this event and that many of you have taken the next step with Liam or with Darren, would it not make sense to you that you had the same skill that they've used on you? Put a 1 in the chat if that would make sense to you. Well, what I'm going to teach you in this session is what they did with you, how they did it, so that you can use this skill too. And you want to have this skill now because the world has changed. Like right now, there is a massive opportunity in the world right now. There's so much uncertainty. People are looking for leaders. People are looking to be motivated. They're looking to be inspired. People feel scared for their future. So why not you be a person that is motivating and inspiring other people? You know, 30 years ago, you needed TV, radio, newspapers to be an expert. Now, with the emergence of YouTube and social media, anybody can be an expert. The problem is, though, team, is that most people, the way they communicate online is really bad. Like, it's really boring. The good news for you is when the way that you communicate is well crafted and is eloquent, it means that you will really stand out. Like if you're asking people to invest in you, to do a property deal with you, your communication will be the difference that makes the difference. Entrepreneur Europe said that speaking, communication is one of the highest professions in the world. So it doesn't matter what you do, becoming a better communicator will positively impact your life like nothing else. Now, I'd love to know, team, so that I can tailor this session, what industry are you in? So I want to know what industry you're in. So we've got personal training, we've got healthcare, we've got construction, we've got engineering, we've got life coaching, we've got a solicitor, we've got a lawyer, healthcare again, NHS, we've got somebody who's a nurse. So this skill, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it doesn't matter whether you're applying it to property or anything else, becoming an expert speaker, property investor will accelerate your results. Why more than ever now? Because the world has changed. There is massive opportunity right now. And for full transparency, it wasn't planned for me to do this session. The reason that Liam asked me to do this session today, as a bonus to you, is because we at Assets for Life have a major problem in that we are going to run this year around 715 live events, whether that's on Zoom like this one or in person in hotels around the United Kingdom. And so right now we are looking for new trainers and sellers right now, people that we can bring into our team and pay them a really nice commission to help us sell more people into our programs so that they can help get more people into the world of property. Kind of like you are here now. How about you help us help more of the people that you know to come into this world? Because there's a lot of people out there right now that are still on the fence about property, but you're not because you're here. So just so that I've kind of gauge an idea of this, team, put a 1 in the idea if you like the idea of, let's say we put a Zoom on a Wednesday night and you either deliver the presentation for Assets for Life using, we give you the slides and we just tell you what to do, or you just take the phone calls at the end of the webinar and enroll people in the program, and you earn a commission of anything between 500 quid to £1,000 per day for enrolling people in our programs that you already believe in, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Just put a 1 in the chat just so that I can gauge the interest in that. Cool. Okay. So, all right. A lot of people. Right. Cool. So at the end of this training, I will talk about what that opportunity looks like. Now, in terms of what's possible when you join our team, here are some of the people that are in our team. This is Ibrahim. Ibrahim does mainly our in-person events. So when we run events like Holiday Inn, Hilton's around the United Kingdom, Ibrahim is at the back of the room and he's enrolling people into our boot camps. He's making around 12 to £1,500 per week part-time selling our products. Literally rocks up, Liam wows people on stage, they go to the back, they enroll. Ibrahim gets commission based on every person that enrolls, and he's making around 12 to £1,500 a week. Put 1 in the comments if you like the idea of that. Like, and then it's what? Someone's like, you're getting free property training as well, right? because you're literally listening to Liam over and over again, and you're getting a proper education and you're getting paid. So yeah, cool. Lot of ones in the chat. Awesome. This is Jamie York. Jamie's in deal packaging. Many of you may know Jamie. Jamie did a webinar recently. 34 people enrolled in his deal packaging program. He made £47,000 in 90 minutes. Just imagine, team, for a minute that you had a skill that enabled you to make £47,000 in 90 minutes. What would that do for you? It would blow your mind. That's why I tell you what it would do. You'd never be able to work a normal day, a normal amount of income ever again. That will just change your psychology from kind of not knowing what's possible to believing and seeing what's possible, right? Amazing, amazing skill. Hajia came through our world, came into our world. She came through one of Liam's boot camps. She started her property journey after the boot camp, but she wasn't succeeding at the rate that she hoped she would. And Liam basically said to her, look, you probably need to work on your communication. You need to work on your speaking. So Liam trained her up in speaking and communicating. She ran an event recently on rent to rent. She made £8,500 in a day, doing what she loves, helping others start their property journey. This is Nick Starr. Nick was a personal trainer at Virgin Active, not enjoying his work, working long hours, not getting paid well, started selling for Liam, then became Liam's head of sales, making around £10,000 a month. And now they have a business together doing sales training. Nick will make £2 million in revenue this year as a result of being a business partner of Liam's. This is Ross, serviced accommodation. You may know Ross. Did an event recently, made £56,000 in 90 minutes. This is Mark Stokes. Many of you know Mark, obviously. Mark did an event recently, made £70,000 in a day, teaching people how to do commercial conversions. The amazing Phil Elder did an event recently, made £50,000 in a day. This is an amazing, amazing skill, but you've got to act fast. One moment, one opportunity, one chance can change everything. Let me ask you a question, team. Have you ever had a time in your life where you thought you had life so right, but in actual fact, it turned out you had life so wrong? Yeah, thank you. Well, if you were with me back in September 2012, you would have been here. This is my good friend Dave Luck's gym in East London. It's called Lucky's Gym. Beautiful gym, grade 2 listed building. On a sunny day, you can go out the back window, back doors. And on a sunny day, you can watch the planes taking off and landing in formation at London City Airport. Beautiful sight. The atmosphere in the gym this particular day in September was really positive. Members were smiling, members were joking. The energy was really, really kicking. However, how everybody else was feeling was completely different to how I was feeling. You see, on the inside, I was feeling sad. I was feeling alone. I was feeling lost. Have you ever felt alone? Have you ever felt lost? Members used to joke back then. They used to say, how come every time I come in through the door, you're always here? And the truth be told, although it was a running joke that I was always there, the reason why I was always there is because I was actually living there. See, the reason I was living there is because back in the August of 2012, my then girlfriend Helen told me she didn't want to be with me anymore. Have you ever been given news that you didn't expect? Well, the silver lining to this story is I wasn't homeless. I was living in the back of my mate's gym. I basically, turned to Dave and said, mate, can I come and stay with you for a few days? I've broken up with Helen. And I'll never forget the day I walked into that room. For me, that was a crossroads. That was a bit of a rock bottom moment for me. You ever been rock bottom? You ever felt at a crossroads? Now, the silver lining is I'm in the gym, right? I'm living in the gym. I'm working out. I'm training hard. I've got the six-pack going on. Haven't at the moment. I'm looking after myself, right? And I'll never forget one day I was in reception. Now, Dave is a bit of a self-development junkie. He's a bit of a personal development nut. But, Dave he's a real softie, right? He looks like a bodybuilder, but he's a real softie. And I'll never forget this particular day I was sat in reception and literally out of nowhere, over my shoulder, a book landed in my lap, kind of winding me because it was a thick book. And Dave looked at me like his glaring eyes from the reception, went, mate, it's time you started working this, not just these, pointing at my biceps. And the book he threw in my lap that day was Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Who's read that book or who's heard of Tony? Give me a 2 in the chat if you have. Yeah, a lot of you, right? Tony, for those of you that don't know, is probably like the world's #1 life coach. Worked with people like Oprah Winfrey, Serena Williams, Gerard Butler, Usher, you name it, right? And so I read that book cover to cover in like a week. Fast forward April 2013, if you'd been with me, we've been in the front row seats at the Excel Center for Tony Robbins's Unleash the Power Within. 4 incredible life-changing days with Tony. I've never laughed so much. I've never danced so much. Never cried so much in 4 days. 4 incredible life-changing days with Robbins. I remember getting on the underground to go home after that event. And I remember thinking how amazing it is that he's come here and transformed like 10,000 people in 4 days. But then there was a voice inside of me that said, well, you know, isn't it a shame that we need why is there not an English person doing this? And then there was a little voice inside of me that said, maybe that's meant to be you doing that. Followed by another voice that said, who the bloody hell do you think you are? Who's got that voice? Who's willing to admit that they've got, raise your hand if you've got that voice. Give me a 1 in the chat if you're willing to admit you've got that voice, the voice that kind of tries to keep you playing small, right? Your playing small doesn't serve the world. Remember that. So I parked that dream. I thought, I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm not the guru on stage. I can't do that. So I parked that dream, went back to the real world, got myself a nice flat, got myself a nice job, got myself a nice car, became a sales director, pointless title, turned out, at a national gym chain called 24/7 Fitness. And to everybody else outside of me, my life was perfect again. But let me ask you a question, team. Have you ever had a time in your life where on the outside, everybody thinks your life's great, but on the inside, you feel like something's missing? Yeah, put a 1 in the comments if you can relate to that. That's how I felt. See, Tony bloody Robbins had awakened the giant within. And now I couldn't think different. I now knew stuff. So I'd love to say to you, I made a bold declaration and I went in my boss Gary's office on the Monday and I said, you know what, Gary, you can stick your job. But I didn't do that, obviously. But what I did do is I made a decision. And the decision was that I was going to take the next step. And I was going to move towards doing what I really wanted to do, which was my dream of having my own business and especially moving into coaching. So I started my first business, which still exists today, called Miles More Members. I can't take the credit for the name. Somebody else came up with that. See what we did there? Miles More Members. Lost on you lot. Here's a question, team. How many clients do you think I had 6 months into starting my business? How many clients? 50. 1,000. Who said that? I love you. Thank you for that. 12, 19, 24, 300. It's not an auction, right? You want to buy me? 0. Who said 0? Cheeky bugger. Who said 0? Thank you for the vote of confidence. Of course it was 0. Why would I put it in the presentation if it wasn't, right? It was 0. The reason it was 0 is because I didn't know how to communicate appropriately. I wasn't a good speaker. I wasn't a good communicator. And the good thing is I was going to events. I'd started to become a bit of a personal development junkie like Dave myself. And this particular event, I went to an event and there's a guy on stage speaking and he had Tony Robbins's charisma. He had Tony Robbins's energy, but he was a little Cockney dude. And for me in that moment, something snapped. I thought, he's not like Tony Robbins, but yeah, he has a way of moving the audience. He has a way of communicating to the energy and enthusiasm that Tony does. And from there, what he did is it removed any excuse of comparing myself to Tony. I thought this guy on stage isn't like a guru like Tony, so I've got no excuse now. And so I made a decision that day. You know, it was literally interest-only credit card. It was about £2,000, enrolled in this kind of speaker training. And once I learned this skill, life looked very different. I started to get to work with some of the biggest gym brands in the world, such as Fitness First, Easy Gym, started getting invited to do industry keynotes. I have had over 500,000 video views online. I've had clients that have been in the X Factor, that have been on the Matrix, spoken on stage alongside people like Ed Milet, Marie Forleo, Stephen Bartlett. I have a training company called Master Coach. We've certified over 50,000 people. I've spoken on stage on behalf of Tony Robbins. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Tony Robbins. I've done over £5 million in sales. I've used this skill to make £14,000 in 90 bloody minutes. And in the past 18 months, I've done £500,000 from my living room. But here's the key. Here's the thing. If you look closely at that photo, you'll see that I'm suited and booted, as you do, for Zooms during COVID. But I actually am barefoot. Here's a question for your team. Raise your hand, one in the comments. I'm used to speaking in person. One in the comments if you like the idea of making £500,000 in the next 18 months from your house barefoot. Put one in the comments if you like the idea of that, right? One. Yeah, that's the power of this skill. That is the power of this skill. And one of the things I'm a big believer in is Tony taught me years ago, the secret to living is giving. We have an organization called Medical Relief International. They provide medical aid in third world countries such as Jordan. Every time somebody buys one of our programs, we donate to them, feed a family of 6 for 3 months. Probably the greatest honor of my life was meeting and marrying my best friend, Sati. You can say, if you like. That always goes well on Zoom, doesn't it? We got married 8 years ago in Las Vegas. I didn't meet her there, by the way. Just want to stress that. And we got a really nice life. We get to travel and do loads of groovy stuff. And now we've got Sage, who is 5, and we've got the photogenic Zen, who is 1. And this number is really important to me. This is the number 4. This is the amount of days on average in a month that I work. And look, I tell you that not to brag or to impress you, but to impress upon you that I'm just a kid who grew up on a council estate in Birmingham, who left school with no grades, who was raised by a single parent. My mum had no money. She had no time. We ran out of electric tokens multiple times a week. There's nothing special about me. Like there's nothing special about Liam. Liam, who you know, been on Forbes magazine, world record holder, 9 million in joint venture funding, 28 million in property deals, multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses, owner of the UK's leading property business and wealth training company. But not that long ago, Liam was like maybe where you are now, at the beginning of his property journey, but like struggling because he didn't know how to communicate. Since learning this skill, he did an event recently. He raised over £100,000 in 90 minutes. And Liam made a decision once he mastered this skill. He said, you know what? I want to start training other people to get the similar results. Like Louise Sargent. She was a psychotherapist in a job that she didn't enjoy. She was able to quit her job, go from 5 clients to 28 clients in 12 months. Now she has her own clinic on Harley Street. Chloe Bisson was in a 6-figure salary job, but she was burnt out. She had income. She had a really successful career, but she wasn't fulfilled. Liam trained her, and she did an event recently for entrepreneurial women. She made £45,000 in a weekend. This is one of the most respected, admired, and highest income generating skills on the planet. But like I said, there's nothing special about me or Liam. We're just kids that grew up on a council estate. Mine was Birmingham, his was Essex. But we do have a very unique and simple approach to making more money and having more time freedom. So, are you ready to learn it, team? Give me a 2 in the comments if you're ready to dive in and learn this stuff. Okay, awesome. Let's get into it. So, if you want to stand out in property, if you want to be an expert in property, if you want to accelerate your property journey and do it fast, then there's 4 things that you need to know and do. Number 1, you need what we call command and inspire. Number 2, you need your story, your unique story. Number 3, you need your solution. And number 4, you need to know how to expand your income using this skill. Let's take a look at step number 1, command and inspire. For you to be seen as an authority in the property space, For you to be in the top 5% of earners in the world, for you to be in the top percentile of people in the world of property, for you to have people come towards you so that you don't have to go and get them, there's 7 steps that you must go through. Let me take you through what these steps are now. We call this the 7-step instant property authority blueprint. Make notes. Number 1, you need to make sure you're in the right state. You've got to manage your mindset. You've got to have the right beliefs. You've got to have the right psychology. Tony Robbins says success is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. Remember that. Number 2, whenever you start a conversation with anybody in property, you want to start by asking them questions to show that you're trying to find out information about them, to find out where they're at. So at the beginning of this session, do you remember I said, put a 1 in the comments if you like the idea of making an additional £500 to £1,000 per day part-time. That was me asking a question to get agreement. So you've got to do that. Next, you've got to show people that you understand where they're at. So you remember I did the whole, perhaps right now you're in a job you don't enjoy. Maybe right now you don't have time freedom. Maybe right now you feel uncertain about your financial future. From there, we went to the game. I said, imagine fast forward 12 months, you're now doing what you love, working wherever you want in the world. You have time freedom, you have financial freedom. So I painted a picture of where you were to where you want to be. Then I created a bridge. I said, if this is where you are and this is where you want to be, would you agree you need a new strategy or vehicle to get from where you are to where you want to be? Then I talk about the topic. So I spoke about why you need to become an expert speaker. You know, Liam, Oprah, Tony Robbins, how they're influential people, how people come towards them, and you need this skill too. And then I said, why now's the time? Meaning that, you know, there's so many people are getting into property now that you're just going to become another number in the property space. Like you're going to be battling with other people to get investors unless you stand out. And the way to stand out is by having this skill. These 7 elements will allow you to go to any property meeting or networking event and stand out and command your audience so that at the end of that property event, you are the one that everybody wants to gravitate to and swap business cards with. Put a 2 in the comments if you want that. Like you want to be the one that all you do is introduce yourself and everybody wants to talk to you. Put a 2 in the comments if you want that. Those 7 elements, when you learn them and know how to do them, they will enable you to do that. So you can truly build the property portfolio of your dreams and do it quickly. Let's take a look at step number 2, team. This is your story. Look, most rookie property investors either don't tell their story, their personal story, or they do it badly. Like it's like, kind of check me out. I'm amazing. I'm a big deal. I'm doing really well for myself. So follow me. They just talk about themselves, kind of WIIFM, what's in it for me, right? People hate when people are just talking about themselves. However, successful property investors, like expert speaker property investors, they know how to communicate their message in a way that is influential and motivating and inspiring and moves people towards them, not away from them. It's my belief that when you know how to tell your story in a way that's eloquent and well crafted, you will be seen as an expert in property, like above everybody else. And there's 7 steps to this as well. All right, write these down. Number 1, you've got to start with your struggle. Don't start with how you're succeeding, start with where you've been. Remember, mine was sleeping in the back of Dave's gym. Next, intervention. My intervention was reading Tony Robbins' book and going to Tony's seminar. An intervention is a point where something happened and it sent your life down a different path. Next, you need a false win. My false win was I got myself back on my feet. I had a nice job and a nice car and a nice house, but I wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't enough for me now because I'd heard from Robbins, right? Then you need a foundational win. My foundational win was I paid to become trained as a coach. But then I had resistance, I had a setback. I didn't know how to get clients. Then I learned how to speak. I learned how to communicate. And from there, life started to change and I started to work with big clients and make a lot of money in a short amount of time, etc. You have to go through those 7 elements. You could do that at a networking meeting in 60 seconds, in 90 seconds, in half an hour, but you've got to tell your story in that type of framework. Hey, just a quick check-in, team. Is this useful? Are you enjoying this? Give me a 1 in the comments. Are you enjoying this? Is this useful? Give me a 1 in the comments. Okay, good. Good. All right, let's carry on. What difference would mastering this skill make in your property business? I just want you to imagine, maybe you want to close your eyes for a minute. Yeah, close your eyes. Imagine for a minute making more money in a month than you do in a year. So let's say you make 30,000 in a year. Let's say you've just made that in a month. What would that do for you? Keep your eyes closed. Imagine that you've now made more money in a week than you do in a year. What would that do for you? And then I want you to imagine, last one, imagine that you've just made more money in a day than you used to do in a year. And you can open your eyes if they're closed. I promise it's possible. I promise it's possible. Hand on heart. Liam and I have made it our absolute mission to help as many people as possible succeed faster in property using this skill. So we created what we call the Expert Speaker Property Bootcamp. Now, in terms of who it's for and who it's not for, basically, it's not for you if your property business right now is already cooking on gas. If you've already got the perfect property business, if you've got absolute time freedom and financial freedom, it's not for you. Who it's for is for anybody that doesn't have time freedom, that doesn't have financial freedom, and doesn't have the perfect property business right now. Day 1, we work on teaching you Command and Inspire. Day 1, we work on teaching you how to build a property presentation and how to craft your inspiring property story. Day 2, we work on helping you become an instant authority in property, help you create your own unique solution in property. And we help you create a pitch that if you use that pitch will have a high probability that you'll get investors, landlords, letting agents wanting to work with you and only you. And then day 3 is all about income generation. On day 3, Liam is going to show you his presentation for how he presents in a way that helped him raise £100,000 in 90 minutes. So we're literally going to take you through that presentation, and it's a recipe. Like raising money in the property space is a recipe, and in a recipe, in any good recipe, there's ingredients and an order and a sequence in which to mix them. And if you mix them in the right order, you will be successful as well. We do the trainings every single month. This skill has changed Liam's life. It's changed Darren Winter's life. It's changed Mark Stokes' life. It's changed my life. And obviously, because it's such a life-changing skill, for full transparency, the usual investment for this program is $2,997 plus VAT with no offers and no discounts. All right, just to be clear. However, because right now we need new trainers, at the end of this event, we're going to open up for a handful of people our new trainer scholarship fund. All right, so at the end of this event, I will talk about what that looks like. Everybody's going to want to do it, but it is only going to be for a limited number of people because Liam and I need to spend 3 days, and it must be a small group to get you up to speed really quickly, to get you trained up so that you can join the team and start running events and doing events for us really quick. So at the end of this event, I'll talk about what that looks like. Okay, let's dive into step number 4, income expansion. There's effectively 3 ways for you to monetize this skill. You can use all 3. Option 1 is you create and sell your own property products, build your own property business, run your own property events, or if you're in a job right now, it will enable you to get job promotions. Because if you become a better communicator, your employer is probably going to want to pay you more money because they'll probably see that you've upgraded yourself and they'll want to maybe give you a pay raise or put you into a new role because you've added new skills. Option 2, which is a genuine opportunity for all of you here today, is you become an AFL trainer, you sell our products and you make a commission of £500 to £1,000 per day part-time. Let me just do a double check on that. Just so that I know, and team, I want you to just jot the names down if you could, of the people that say yes to this. Just so that we're clear about this, just put a 2 in the comments if you are interested in the idea of becoming a trainer or seller for Assets for Life and earning a part-time income that you can do as a side hustle of £500 to £1,000 per day part-time, either delivering Zooms on a Wednesday night, we give you the presentation, you just turn up, and then you earn a commission from anybody that buys one of our courses, or you're a person that is at the other end of the phone, taking phone calls, enrolling people in our program. So just put a 2 in the comments, just to remind me of how many people. There's a lot of people that are wanting to do that. Okay, cool. Put a 2 in the comments if that's you. Okay, cool. Just so that I am reminded. So team, just take a screen grab, make a note of that, because those are the people that when the opportunity comes about the fund later, those of you that I've put 2, you want to make sure you're literally on the pulse when it comes out later. You're going to want to make sure that you grab this. So option 3 is we become your business partner. Liam is always looking for new business partners. So genuine opportunity for you to sit down with Liam. He fancies himself as a little bit of a dragon from Dragon's Den, thinks he's the next Stephen Bartlett, doesn't he? Genuine opportunity for you to sit down, talk about what you currently do with Liam, and maybe perhaps go into business together. Like Liam is literally open to anything. Like he's just currently partnering with somebody on cryptocurrency, somebody on AI, somebody in aesthetics, somebody in cosmetics, right? He's in things in all pies, right? So if you've got a business or a passion or an idea, then when you've been trained to speak by us, that will be a genuine opportunity for you to talk about. Who's getting value so far? Who's enjoying this? Give me a 1 in the chat if you're enjoying this, you're finding this valuable. This session's been useful so far. Good. Well, look, I want to share with you what I call my success fast track. When I live in Coventry, by the way, when I travel to London, I always get the fast train because I'm a big believer in this thing called time versus money paradox. Write that down. What that means is you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So if you want more money and you want more time, invest money in things that will give you more money and therefore will give you more time. So for me, getting the fast train is about getting to London quicker so that I can have potentially more meetings than I would if I take the long train, and get home quicker to do what I really want to do, which is spend time with Sati, Sage and Zen. So this is my fast track. Number 1, have a higher purpose than money. Have a higher purpose than money. People often say, if Liam's doing so well in property, why is he teaching property? And the answer is simple. It comes from Tony Robbins. Write this down. Tony Robbins says, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. I'll say that again. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. What does that mean? What that means is property makes me successful. Property makes Liam successful, but it doesn't make him fulfilled. The stock market makes Darren Winters a lot of money, but just doing that alone isn't going to make him fulfilled. Sat behind a computer getting a crooked neck isn't going to make you fulfilled. You need fulfillment. And that means having a higher purpose than money. Number 2, work your potential, not your quota. If you're one of those people that compares yourself to other people, stop it. The only person that you need to compare yourself is to you from like 6 months ago. And only you know your potential. And if you feel like inside of you right now that you've got a gift inside of you and that you're not using, then remember, you may have a gift, but if you're not using it, it's not yours to keep, right? So work your potential, not your quota. Don't just do enough. Work your potential. Next, get great mentors. Mentors have the recipe to success. Liam has the recipe to success. And success is a recipe, meaning in a recipe, there are ingredients and an order and a sequence in which to mix them. And if you mix them in the right order, you will be successful too. Next, upgrade your peer group. Jim Rohn says your life is a direct reflection of the expectation of your peer group. Miles Grant says Spend time with 5 super successful property investors, you'll be the 6th. Spend time with 5 whining, complaining idiots, you'll be the 6th, right? So who you spend time with is who you become. Tony Robbins, right? Upgrade your peer group. Next, follow your gut, not your brain. Here's the thing. Your brain is not on your side. Write that down. Your brain is not on your side. Your brain is hardwired to keep you safe. Your brain, when you're offered an opportunity to get out of your comfort zone and take the next step on the life of your dreams, here's what the brain's going to do. I'm not ready yet. I'll do it next time. Now's not the right time. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. That's the brain. What you've got to do is listen to your gut. So if your brain says no and your gut says no, it's no. But if your brain says no and your gut says yes, or your heart says yes, then you must take that next step. Not because I say so or somebody else says so, but because your gut always knows what's right for you. Your gut knows when you didn't do something that you should have done. Your gut knows when you did something that you shouldn't have done, right? Follow your gut, not your brain. And then last, you must become a master at influence and communication. Really, really is the key. Look, this expert speaker property bootcamp really is for anyone. Whether you're new to property, you're an existing investor, you're employed, you're self-employed, have your own business, this skill will change your freaking life. It's changed Liam's life. It's changed Darren Winters' life. This will change your freaking life. And what I personally promise you is you're going to succeed in property faster. You're going to get more property deals and you're going to become the go-to person in your area. Anyone can do this. You'll be in high demand. Why? Because you'll own a high income generating skill. You're just one presentation away from a completely different life. Like Ben. Ben was an estate agent. He found speaking and it changed everything for him. He's now on course for 7 figures in the next 12 months with his advertising agency. This is Hiran. He's now running webinars teaching people how to do social media. He's on course for 6 figures in his first year. This is Pete and Janelle O'Keefe. They are in property and they ran an event recently to people that they know in New Zealand and they made £20,000 in a day. And Janelle will say she's not a speaker. She's an introvert. She says, I don't like speaking, but I love property and I want to help more people get into it. Higher purpose than money, right? This is Fabio. Fabio was flipping pizzas for minimum wage. People, is this resonating with you yet? Flipping pizzas for minimum wage. Now he's an Amazon best-selling author. He's an award-winning educator. And this is Adele. Adele's in property. He did a webinar during COVID, made £12,961 from his first webinar. Imagine making £12,000 from Zoom on a Wednesday night. What would that do for you? What would that do for your confidence if you could do that? That's what this skill will give you. That's what this skill's given Liam. That's what this skill's given me. That's what this skill's given Darren Winters. That's what this skill will give you. Polly Tomlinson. She runs wellness retreats. She has 5 times her income using this skill. Jennifer Roblin, an award-winning speaker. Look, these people, it just reminds me of this saying, believing is seeing. Meaning you've got to believe that you can do it because other people have already done it. Don't take my word for it. Take the word for it of Roger Bannister. For those of you that don't know, Roger Bannister ran the first 4-minute mile. Until he ran it, people said, don't do it, Roger, you'll kill yourself. And then he did it. And like in the weeks that followed, 35 other people ran a 4-minute mile. What's my point? Believing is seeing. Believing is seeing. This is going to have the biggest impact on your property journey, people. You're going to negotiate with landlords, agents, investors with more confidence. You're going to succeed in property faster. You're going to have better relationships. You're going to have more money. You're going to have more time. You're going to become an instant authority in property. You're never going to have to worry about money ever, ever again. Hey, but look, don't take my word for it. Take a word from it from our familiar friend. Here's Liam.
Hey, it's Liam here, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is how come you have been able to raise over £10 million in joint venture funding, do £31 million worth of property deals, and now own the UK's leading property business and wealth training organisation? One word for you, stages, but to be able to talk to investors, landlords, agents, to build a team, communicate, motivate, inspire, overcoming objections, become more powerful. Speaking is the #1 skill to master in order to become successful and wealthy. And in just the last 10 years, I've been able to grow the UK's leading property business and wealth training company. And you're watching this now because you are on one of the events. And my good friend, partner, and one of my great trainers, Miles, is taking you on a journey. I am always looking for new trainers and speakers. I'm looking to grow the team always, so that could be an opportunity for us. But if you're watching this now and you want more out of life, you want to start, scale and grow a property business, you want to become a top 1% performer, and you want to get yourself into a position where you never have to worry about money ever again and start generating at least £10,000 a month, then this is definitely the skill for you. It is the difference that makes the difference. So I really hope you're enjoying this session with Miles. If we can do it, forward to hopefully work on your speaker skills for you to be very powerful, to get out there, build that property business, and make the money that you truly deserve and desire. I'll see you very soon.
All right, give it up for Mr. Liam Ryan. All right, give it up, give it up, give it up. All right, so just to clarify, this event, this session that I'm doing was not planned. It was literally like Liam texted me last night and said, mate, can you do a session? Because we need new trainers immediately. Would you mind jumping in and doing a session? So I literally rattled a presentation together. So what I'm about to share with you is a genuine, legitimate one-off. We're not repeating this. It is a one-off. It's because we need new trainers that we're doing this offer. Once we've got the new trainers, we won't be doing this again. We'll be doing our normal investment for the bootcamp. So remember, normal investment for the bootcamp, 2,997 plus the VAT. That's not going to be the offer for today, obviously, because of our need for new trainers. We're also going to give you Liam's seven-figure property speaker forum secrets. That's exactly Liam's roadmap, his recipe, his blueprint, his manifesto for how he's gone from 0 to 7 figures in the property space. Incredible, incredible, incredible. Enable you to, build a hugely successful property business for yourself, so you can have time freedom, financial freedom, lifestyle freedom, whatever you want, work when you want, with whoever you want, have 30 holidays a year as Liam does, etc. Right? Absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing. Also going to give you Liam's speaker scripts and templates. What this means is, so you can go out there, network with confidence, speak to letting agents, landlords with confidence, negotiate with confidence, raise funds with confidence. And those of you that are going to do events for us, we're going to give you scripts of how to close the sale, and we're going to give you our presentations, our slide decks. So you're not going to have to come up with what to say or what to do. We're just going to give it you because you're part of the AFL team. And then finally, you're going to have the opportunity to become part of the AFL family and become one of our speakers and sellers. We put a value on that at £10,000. I think it's greater than that, because look at it this way. You only need a few days for you to have earned more than £10,000 by being one of our sellers and speakers. Total value, £13,791. Obviously, that's not the investment today, but I think it's really important for you to know, before I get into the investment, why I and Liam, why I specifically do what I do. Here's what I believe. I believe you being here on this training today means you're not normal. Now, before you go and throw something at the screen, hear me out. You see, normal people don't come on a training that is about investing in themselves. Normal people don't take time out to work on how they can better their lives, how they can have time freedom, financial freedom. Normal people don't do that. Normal people just play it safe. Normal people stay in their comfort zone. But you're not normal, because you've not come here to play it safe. You've come here because you want the next level, because you want a better life, because you want to fulfill your true potential, right? So because of that, said with love, that means you're not normal. And that, and that also means that you have a gift. You have a gift of knowing that there is a better way. But that gift, that's not yours to keep. Let me illustrate you this by telling you a story. Little girl gets up, she's 4 years old, it's Christmas morning. Maybe you remember that feeling of getting up on Christmas morning, right? At that age, maybe you're excited. Runs downstairs to open her presents, opens the first one. It's the same present as last year. She's like, it's the same present as last year. So she opens the second one. It's also the same as last year. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, opens it. They're all the same present. She goes, they're all the same presents as last year. She runs upstairs into mum and dad's room, bursts in and says, Mum, Dad, you gave me the same presents as last year. Why would you do that? Why? Mum leans out of the bed and says to her, because you haven't used them yet. And then she says, use your gifts and you'll get more next year. And then she says, share your gifts and you'll get double next year. Are you going to share your gifts before it's too late? Now, for me, getting to speak here with you today, for me, this is a gift. And now I get to mentor others. Someone was there for me. They put their hand out to me and helped me. And so that's what I want to do. I want to help you. So myself and Liam, right now, we are looking to mentor our next world-class speaker and trainer so that you never have to worry about time and you never have to worry about money ever again. The question is, do you want it to be you? Put a 1 in the chat right now if you want it to be you. I'm looking to pick someone. Put a 1 in the comments right now if you want it to be you. All right. I have your attention. I love it. Put a 1 in the comments if you want it to be you. Right? All right. Here's what we're going to do, team. I mentioned earlier that we need new trainers, that we are looking for new property sellers and trainers right now. So here's what we're going to do. I said to you earlier that the total value of the program was £13,791. I said to you that we need new speakers and trainers. However, there are a couple of conditions before I reveal what this investment is going to be. Number 1 condition is when you get your first sale, when you get your first commission check, or when you get your first deal, whatever it is, whatever it looks like, we want a testimonial, video or written words, fine, but we want your permission to use that for marketing purposes. If you're willing to meet that condition, good. The second condition is when you get your first sale, I want you to buy me a box of protein bars. I'm a cheap date, but I like Oreo grenades. They're on Amazon for about 20 quid. All right. I want a box of protein bars from you when you get your first deal, right? You don't need to take me out for dinner or anything. Protein bars are good. Sati will be happy. Protein bars are my favorite thing, right? So if you're willing to meet those conditions, the second one's a bit of a joke, but the first one's legitimate. Here's what we're going to do. This is only going to be, just to be clear, this is only going to be for the first 9 people. The reason why it's going to be for the first 9 people is because Liam and I need to train you. So it's going to be super, super intimate. All right. So we can only do this for 9 people because it's going to be 3 days. We're going to have dinner together. We're going to have lunch together. We're going to provide you food. We're going to provide you drinks. We're going to look after you for 3 days at Assets for Life headquarters. Yeah. So normal investment for the bootcamp is 2,997. It isn't going to be 2,997. It isn't going to be 1,997. It isn't even going to be 997. Here's what we're going to do. Only because we need new trainers right now, desperately need new trainers. Here's what we're going to do. First 9 people only. And there's a lot of people here right now. And there's a lot of people that put 1 in the chat when I asked the question, who wants to join the team? First 9 people only are going to get it for, are you ready? Are you ready? You're not going to believe this. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? First 9 people are going to get it for just 497 plus the VAT. There's a link in the chat right now. Go now, go now, go now, go now. First 9 people only. 497 plus the VAT. Team, if you could put the link in the chat, that'd be great. 497 plus VAT. The This is not going to be repeated. We're not doing this next Saturday. And this is literally a one-off because we need new trainers. Liam is making no money on that whatsoever. That is just to cover the cost of using the Holiday Inn. That just covers me and Liam and the team training you up for the 3 days and feeding you and giving you drink for the 3 days. We're not making any money on this whatsoever. This is an investment. Remember, it's an investment. You're going to make that back fast by becoming one of our speaker trainers and sellers, right? You're going to make that back fast. 497 plus the VAT. It works out like £1.36 per day, right? You can't get a coffee for that. This is an investment. You're going to spend that money, so you may as well invest it in a skill set that's going to pay you back big time. 2 bonuses for you. Number 1, we're going to do a mastermind session before the boot camp, and you're also going to have a private one-to-one mentoring session at the boot camp as well. Look, team, if all this did for you was help me negotiate better in property, if all it did for you is enable you to influence better, to land property deals easier, to give you the confidence to network in property more successfully, if all it did was give you a skill set to have ultimate time and financial freedom, if all it did was help you to overcome your fears, your anxiety, your old blocks, if all it did was give you new confidence and never have to worry about money again, would it be worth it? Would it be worth it if that's all it did? Now, how many of you here know you want to do it, but you know you need a little bit of help enrolling? Like maybe perhaps you need a payment plan. If you need a payment plan, put PP in the chat. If you know you need a payment plan, like you're like, I want to do this, working with Liam, selling for you guys, £500 a day, music to my ears. I want that. That sounds amazing. Accelerate your property journey and work under our wing. Put PP in the chat if you know you want to do it, but you need a payment plan. Okay, a lot of PPs. All right. So bearing in mind, this is only for 9 people. So as long as there are still places available, here is the payment plan. If you need a payment plan, you can split it into 3 payments of 199 quid plus the vodka and tonic. All right. So if you know you need a payment plan, 199 times 3 plus the VAT, as long as there are still places available. 499, 497 obviously is the cheaper investment. You save about £200 when you do it that way. First 9 people only, I've got to stress that, but there are payment plans available. If for some reason you come to the first day and you decide, you know what, I don't think this is for me, we'll give you your money back. No questions asked. But look, here's what I will say. If you're still here and you're still engaged in this session and you haven't enrolled, do what I said earlier. Don't listen to your brain. Your brain's not on your side. Listen to your heart. If your heart or your gut is saying, oh, I really want to do this. This sounds great. This sounds amazing. And a great income as well. Then listen to your heart. Listen to your gut. Don't listen to your brain. Your brain's not on your side. First 9 people only. All right. And then when it's gone, it's gone. We're not repeating this. If you miss this today, you miss this forever. Now, there's a few people that posted questions. I haven't got the time to answer the individual questions. If you've got a question about the program, whether that's about the dates, or you need a different payment plan, or you need to split it across some cards, or you need to do a backs transfer, or you just need a few more details before you enroll, as long as there are still places available. Team, if you could post the link for people to ever book a phone call. And then what will happen is one of the team will call you in the next few minutes. Literally, as soon as you put your number in, they'll call you and they'll answer any of the questions you've got before enrolling. So if you haven't already, and you know that you want to do this, but you're on the fence, maybe because you've got a question, or you're a left brain, you need details first, right? There is a link in the chat for you to book a phone call. Team, this will be the best investment you make in yourself all year. That you are this skill away from a completely different life. This skill has changed my life. This skill has changed Liam's life. This is Liam's secret sauce. If you want to succeed at the level Liam has, but I'm here to tell you, it's not about property. I mean, it is, but if you really want to succeed, you're going to have to be a better communicator. You're going to have to learn how to influence. You're going to need to learn how to persuade. And at the end of the day, would it not make sense to you that the way that you've been sold to congruently today by the people that have sold to you, would it not make sense to you that you learned the skill set that they've had, that they've used on you today? This session has just been me teaching you at a high level what they know and why they do what they do. Now come and spend 3 days with us so that at the end of the 3 days, you will have these skills as well. So you can double, treble, quadruple your income and have more free time than you can ever possibly imagine. Because at the end of the day, the people that have time freedom and financial freedom, they are all expert speakers. Tony Robbins, Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Marie Forleo, Stephen Bartlett, Dean Graziosi, Alex Hormozy, Brendan Burchard, Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Joseph McClendon. Who else? I've said Marie Forleo, Mel Robbins, right? What are these people? Liam Ryan, Mark Stokes Ross, Nick Starb, right? Jamie York, Mark Stokes, Phil Elder, Darren Winters. What do these people all have in common? They're all expert speakers. Would it not make sense to you for you to have the skill that they've used, potentially some of you, on you? Go with your gut, team. Go with your gut. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure serving you today. I wish you health, wealth, happiness. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really look forward to seeing you on the boot camp. If you haven't yet, get yourself enrolled. I believe there are still I think there's 2 spaces still remaining. So minimum, get yourself on a payment plan. Minimum, book a phone call. Do not miss this opportunity, team. This skill is going to transform your freaking life. Do not miss this opportunity, team. Once it's gone, it's gone. This is a chance to be trained by Liam on his #1 skill set. Do not miss this opportunity. Go now, get yourself involved, listen to your gut. This skill will change your freaking life. And as I said at the beginning, you are one presentation away, one skill set away from a completely different life. That's it from me. Back to you, team.